Hi everybody, thanks for watching that video. So today I'm in Sydney and I'm meeting with Michelle Rowan. How are you doing, Michelle?
Very well, how are you?
I'm great actually. First of all, congratulations for the launch of Pig.
Thank you.
Great timing, I was in town.
And congratulations on your book launch.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for waiting for me to launch this concept, so I'm very pleased that was around. So yes, today we're going to talk about Pig, we're going to talk about the Pollenizer a bit, because that's the company you work for. You're business concept manager, and I checked your profile, and apparently people envy you, and you have the greatest job on earth or in the world, so please can you walk us through that?
That is true. It's a very, very fun job. Basically, in my role I work customer facing a lot of the time and also work on the product, as well as the more general business concept. At Pollenizer we work with startups. We co-found all startups that we work on, and with the example of Pig, for instance, that's the intention is that it's a disruptive technology. We set out to really look at the industry, look at the banking industry, turn it upside down and see what falls out. And what fell out for us was Pig, which is basically a way that you can make a payment over Twitter, just using very simple commands.
Exactly, well, we'll talk about that in a second, yeah. First of all, why did you decide to start with Twitter instead of, for instance, Facebook?
Yeah, so that goes back to the disruption. We were looking at basically, what is banking today? So banking is private, it's generally larger amounts, there's a bunch of things. It's not social, it's just, it's a very controlled environment. And we thought, what are the things out there that we could do that would reverse all of that? And Twitter was a perfect place for us to start. Again, it's only the first product that will be launched under the Pig banner. But essentially, Twitter is all about public. It's all about, social, and those are the things for us that we're missing from the, current banking experience, and something that we could easily disrupt.
So that's just the first of many products under the Pig brand?
Yes, it is, yeah. So we've also, something that's in development at the moment is the ability to be able to connect beyond your Twitter network through email IDs. And again, that would still all be public and accessible. It is about the fun social transactions, and we feel that keeping it public will maintain, that social energy as opposed to putting it behind walls.
I think it's an interesting move, yeah. What's the timeline for the next, evolution then, or?
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon?
We're hoping,
okay.
We're hoping to release it in the next couple of weeks.
Excellent. It will be first on visible banking, so we'll see.
Excellent.
Let's talk about Twitter, right? You know that we're benchmarking how financial institutions are using Twitter worldwide, yeah? Which is interesting. Most of them are not active, so 90% of the accounts, we're tracking 1,500 worldwide, are not active. So same with Twitter accounts. I think it's between 70 and 80% are not very active. So again, what's the size of the opportunity in Australia to start with, and then we can talk about the international expansion. So,
well, I think what's interesting with Twitter in Australia is that it had, it launched and a couple of thousand people signed up, and then it sort of sat dormant like it did with the rest of the globe. And then now we're seeing trends where it's really rising again. I think one of the fascinating things that we discovered with Pig is that people were actually getting their friends to sign up to Twitter so that they could use Pig, which I think was very, that was something that we weren't quite expecting to see. We did think that it would be mostly people who were Twitter addicts that would be most excited about coming on board, so it's really focusing on the early adopters who already understand Twitter, but we are seeing that it's sort of filtering through social networks that we didn't anticipate.
Okay, so that was during the beta phase of the product,
yeah,
right?
That's right.
Service.
Yeah.
Okay. So which kind of size of the market do you expect for that, or take up? I mean, you've got, I guess, probably forecasts or goals. I don't know if you can share that with us.
We do. I'm not sure that I can share that with you at the moment, but I think, one of the things that we did realise is that the Twitter market is limited, which is why we, although Twitter is the first market that we're approaching, it's not necessarily the end game for us. So, that's why we are moving to email, which is again more accessible, to just broaden it out to a wider community, because we don't want to be restricted. If somebody doesn't like using Twitter, or they like using Facebook instead, or they just want to use email, the idea is that you should be able to take your Pig account wherever you go, throughout any social network, of course. With at Pollenizer we focus on lean startups, so it's all about starting small, starting somewhere that we can own, and then moving on when we've got, basically proven that we've validated an idea, then we get to move on to the next step.
Well, I guess it's very clever anyway in terms of marketing and
Yes.
promotion, brand awareness. Everybody's like, Twitter,
Yeah.
payments on Twitter.
Yeah.
Even though actually almost 2 years ago, I believe, there's a credit union in the US which started to not do that, but to enable people, to give them the opportunity to check their accounts and get Vantage Credit Union. So it's a credit union, so it didn't really took up because for many reasons anyway, it was quite early in the life of Twitter. But that's interesting. I mean, again, is the appetite? Will people use that? But it's just the start, which is one of the key facts here. Yeah. What about security? We know that Twitter is not really secure. You can be hacked quite quickly, quite easily. So I guess that your limitation is $100 anyway.
$100 per tweet. So you can basically own
it's per tweet, right?
Per tweet, yes. Okay. And when you top up your account, the maximum is $100 any time as well.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, although we are going to be lifting that as well. So we put in a few safeguards to make sure that we can test it with the community, see how much people are topping up in one go, how much they're tweeting. And we're finding that the $100 threshold isn't too much of a barrier at the moment. But we've also limited it to Australian bank accounts only. So it's really for Australian customers at the moment, and that's because we want to create a safe and traceable community. And the easiest way to do that is to lock it down to Australian bank accounts for the very first phases. Of course, the intention is that we open it up to other markets as well. But to begin with, that is one way that we've made sure that we do have a totally traceable community. To put money into your pig account, you're using PayPal. To take money out, you're using an Australian bank account. So we do feel that there is some reassurances there.
Makes sense again. In terms of making sure people use it and having some safeguards, as you said, the 100 thresholds. There's companies like in the UK, Wonga, I don't know if you know Wonga, they do instant loans basically, and they've got thresholds as well. The more you use it, the higher the threshold so do you plan to implement some kind of, again, gamification / social reputation or awareness?
It's exactly where we're heading with this. Okay. So we have started to put in place timelines if you log into the actual web application as opposed to using it just through Twitter. You can see timelines, you can see who you're connecting with and things like that. The aim is to build that out over time as we develop the insights and give those insights back to the users who are signed up to PIG so that they can understand where their money is going, and also just develop more of the community around that.
You've got an app for that?
we will have an app for that. So it's mobile friendly at the moment. So actually that goes for all of the Pollenizer. It's basically the Pollenizer way is to try and build responsive designs for websites. So when we first started building the PIG web app, we made sure that it would work on mobile. We don't actually have an official iPhone app or Android app yet. We hope to do that sometime soon. So it's on the cards.
In terms of key topics or helping the population, to the Australians, to bank in a more convenient way, or PFM, personal financial management, understanding where your money goes. And when I say PFM, I'm thinking tagging transactions, again, to build more intelligence, to your transactions on Twitter. Do you plan at some point to introduce some system of hashtags or even the opportunity for Twitter users to capture that information somewhere?
Definitely. Financial literacy was one of the big topics that we started talking about when this project first launched for Pollenizer with our founding investors. And everybody is very excited about the idea of being able to provide really valuable information back into the community who's using PIG. And to that point, definitely, looking at the syntax, looking at hashtags, looking at being able to work out your payments in a much more comprehensive way, I guess, similar to the likes of Bank Simple and some of the Mint and other innovators within that space who are doing some really
bank.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Brett. Listen.
So we are really looking at that and trying to work out exactly how we can incorporate that back in. Obviously, it's very early days, so we're still gathering data and working out how people are using Pig, what type of transactions are they comfortable making public. Again, back to the fact that it's all public. You don't necessarily want to pay for your dentist, on using Pig, but people are very happy to pay for movie tickets and fun social things that you're doing with your friends. So it's capturing all of those insights and feeding it back in.
You mentioned a very good point actually. Everything is done in a public manner. So today you can't use the DM function of Twitter to do anything.
Not to interact.
Because what an interesting point, and that's good actually, full visibility, transparency, because even if you want to request as well, is to transactions or check your account, or it has to be public, so you don't offer the options of private.
No, we don't, and that was not a technical limitation, it was more a strategic decision to make everything public. Again, I think that transparency creates a really interesting ecosystem. We do find that people are using Pig in a more fun way than they would, just cash in their wallet. It's become a way to reach out to your friends in a really fun and unique way. I think one of the things that I really enjoy doing is when my friends are going on holidays, I'll send them a bon voyage Pig message and give them money for a cocktail or something like that. It's just a nice way. I mean, would I give one of my friends $7? I wouldn't do that, but it's nice to be able to sort of interact in that way within that space and have it all public. And I think we're finding that it's a lot more fun than we anticipated.
No, it sounds like it actually. I can't wait to try. I can't try actually with features, not having a bank account in Australia.
Well, you can sign up, you just won't be able to withdraw your money. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I can lend you some time.
Please, on Pig, we need to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, I'll Pig you, and then you'll have money in your account.
Pig me, please. So, again, Twitter, we covered it, and again, I wish you the best on that. I'm interested to see how it's gonna, it's gonna grow and how many people will use it. Interesting to see your international expansion as well. Again, what's the perception of banks? Technically speaking, it's not overcomplicated anyway, so I guess banks could do it.
Yeah.
So how do you think they perceive you? Potential disruptor, potential partner? At some point you might build relationships with one or several?
I hope that it's quite a symbiotic relationship. I think, with the announcement of Kaching and with what ANZ and the other banks in Australia are doing.
So Kaching, the Commonwealth Bank new application on iPhone for payments basically through emails, Facebook, contactless, and so on and so forth. It's quite innovative. Yeah.
I think the more that's happening within that ecosystem, the better it is for customers at the end of the day. And I hope that we really hope to work with the wider community, not just banks, but technology partners and merchants and lots of other industries out there. I think that there's it's the time for change within the banking industry at the moment, and I think that the Big Four are recognising that as well.
You could imagine tomorrow that rewarding your users should they use one specific bank, for instance, or And we talked about ecosystem. We talked about I'd like to talk about small businesses.
Yeah.
Social media is great for them, as we know. It's not just personal banking users. What's your vision of that and the opportunity of reaching out to a baker or anyone who's interested in small and payments, basically?
Definitely. So at the moment, where we're at in the evolution of Pig is that we're focused on social, pretty much the one-to-one transactions that happen socially between individuals. Not so much on the business components at the moment, but it is something that we're looking into. Obviously, with Foursquare deals and lots of other things happening within that space, there's a big opportunity there. But I think one of the big barriers is finding a way to interact with those merchants. So essentially, the point of sale machines that they have is very difficult to interact with. So we're looking at other opportunities within that space that could make it easier for customers, to pay, whether it's for their dinner or whichever it is, but whilst not creating more of a burden for the small businesses out there who are already really feeling, a lot of the pain points around those.
Then you have to simplify, make it more convenient. That's what everybody's trying to do, I think. Yeah, especially disruptors like yourself. Yeah. Indeed, very important. Yeah. Okay, we covered small businesses and the business model. I believe I read your blog. You're charging $2.5 every time you deposit money. That's it.
Yeah, that's right. So when you fill up your Pig account, we charge $2.50 to fill up your account.
Whatever the amount, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the amount.
People tend to put the $100 in.
It varies. So users that use their account a lot more often, obviously top up more often. But it really depends. I mean, if you're paying a friend back for some movie tickets, you might only need $20 in your pig account, as opposed to if you're paying for some kind of other event, where tickets are $90, so you need to top up more. But it is a flat rate fee. The majority of that actually goes directly to PayPal at the moment. So, we do
PayPal,
hello.
Yeah.
They actually sorted out a few issues for us the other day, so we were very happy about that. I think that, over time we look to review that. But it hasn't been too much of a barrier for people that we're seeing at the moment. But we're definitely looking for user feedback on that one, just to make sure that we do have the thresholds correct.
Okay, well, it makes sense. User feedback is all about making the product better, considering, again, comments and prioritizing your effort in terms of product roadmap.
Yeah.
How do you plan to do that? And to better leverage social media to promote and to interact and engage with your audience?
Definitely.
And not just as a payment mechanism on Twitter.
Definitely, and that's something which we're constantly learning. So, again, back to how Pollenizer works here, is that basically we don't really have a planned out waterfall roadmap at all. Everything is agile, and we incorporate the learnings back in every single week. We have retrospectives. We make sure that we capture user feedback. We make sure that we put that back in and actually factor that into the next big thing that we're building, essentially. So that's just part of what we do.
Do you have a system in place, like a proper ID generation, ID capture system, or on Facebook, or a microsite, or as an organization? Do you have like a platform online which enable, again, to capture that information?
So we use, for user feedback, you mean?
Okay, for
user feedback, we use Get Satisfaction, which we're only just setting up with Pig, so if anyone would like to contribute, feel free.
Okay. It's going to be on the Facebook page as well?
So yeah, it will. I mean, again, it's early days for Pig, so we're still sorting out a few of those, ironing out some of the kinks. But yeah, generally we do use either, Zendesk or Get Satisfaction, or, just talking with people. I think a lot of the time people forget the value of face-to-face as well, in terms of capturing customer feedback, finding out, where we can add the most value to people's lives. Really looking at that from a very holistic perspective. I'm quite thankful I studied anthropology, did ethnographies and things like that, and I find that I use that very often in marketing and product, to make sure that we are actually looking at a community and really understanding
people and behaviors, not just technology. Social media is all about people, not technology. Say it again.
Exactly.
Say it again.
And I think that essentially that's what Pig is doing as well. We're kind of platform independent in that sense. If something launched tomorrow and it fit with, and you could make payments through that system, we would be there too. We don't want to be bound by a particular platform, because it is about people, and we want to be where the people are.
Of course, that makes sense. Anything else you wanted to add, or on Pig, or can you talk about maybe metrics? I know you can't share much, but which kind of volumes, or what are your key indicators anyway, in terms of success?
Well, we've got a number of KPIs that we are tracking at the moment. Obviously, active users is a big one for us.
What's active?
Active means that they have interacted either on Twitter or through the web app, once a week, making sure that we do actually have some kind of activity,
regular
activity, and that could be paying somebody, it could be checking your balance, or things like that. So basically an engagement metric. Obviously we have a sign-up metric that we're tracking as well. And then we have ones that are more focused on revenue, which is number of top-ups and things like that. So we're tracking them, and again, that forms a lot of our guiding principles. If we see that one of the metrics that we're tracking isn't going so well, but people are really loving the product, we take that into consideration, and we will factor that into the next product rollout as well.
It's very agile, as you say.
Very agile, yes. And we have to be. I think that that's the benefit that we have, being in the technology and innovation space. We're not really bound by a big industry, a big cumbersome industry that has lots of red tape and can't move as quickly as we can.
One of your key strengths, of course, working in such a dynamic and innovative environment.
Exactly, and that's one of the founding principles is making sure that we do stay agile, that we don't get bogged down, and that we do just keep moving forward and pushing through all of those boundaries, essentially.
Okay. So how many people trialed it? Can you share something with that? Like a few dozens, few hundreds, few thousands?
A few hundreds so far have trialed. So we opened it up into limited beta, and again that was more to ensure that the safety of the network, and obviously we're dealing with real people's money here, so we do want to make sure that we're putting in the safeguards and rolling out slowly at the moment. Obviously we are encouraging people to sign up, but it is about making sure that we grow at a rate that we can support, and that we can learn from. More importantly, if we have, if we can capture the learnings early, then I think that we'll have a much greater opportunity out there.
There you go. Congratulations for the launch again.
Thank you.
I won't be there probably, but I wish you the best for your next banking 2.0 like meetup that you organize as well in Sydney.
Thank you.
Well done for that. Yeah.
Well, you have to join us next time.
Do you have a theme or topic you were thinking for the next one?
No, we've focused on financial literacy and the challenges around how banks can essentially help with that. We had a couple of just open discussions around things. We also did a brainstorming exercise called brain writing, which was basically looking at the bank of the future and what would it be, which is a really fun one to do. There's a couple of notes out there on the meetup group, Bank 2.0. So yeah, if anyone would like to suggest a topic for next time, or if you've got a topic that you think we should focus on,
I've got quite a few actually I could share with you. And I'd love to participate in the future. Yeah.
Excellent. Maybe we can Skype you in.
Or better if I'm around, yeah. Yeah. We'll meet up and you check Banking 2.0 in Sydney, yeah. Michelle, great. Okay, thanks a lot, Michelle.
Lovely, thanks.
And my best wishes again, and congrats again for Peak.
Thanks.
I can't wait to see growing and touching gamification, voice of the customer very soon.
We're very excited.
Congratulations.
Lovely, thank you.
Bye, Michelle.
Thanks.